Well, I think I got it to work. Maybe. There we go. God, this thing has like a huge amount of lag from the time that it's recording to the time Facebook actually gets around to showing me the preview. So I'm not usually really sure if it's working yet or not. Obviously, I need to do some tweaking on the setup. Anyway, so today's thing is about the time I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which oddly enough was, well, real recently, like about a month ago. So I'm going to start the story the best place to start a story, which is in the middle, and then we're going to go backwards a little bit and forwards to where we are now. So, as it happened, I've been putting on some weight. I'm older. I'm 40-something years old. We won't say how old. But I'm older and put on a little weight. And so I started working out and injured myself. But looking at the scales, I really wasn't putting on any more weight. But mysteriously, my clothes weren't fitting right. Now, the injuring myself portion was actually partially from a bout of gout, of all things. It's not. It's a weird thing. Gout is not something I would expect to have ever had, and don't know why it occurred. But this meant that I needed to do something. See, I haven't had health care in quite a while. I don't go to the doctor. It costs money. Who can afford that sort of bourgeois stuff these days? So I finally broke down and went to the doctor. Now, I already knew, starting back in April, that I have high blood pressure too. So we got high blood pressure and we got gout. So we're not doing too good. But I was pretty certain that wasn't going to be the end of the story. High blood pressure usually is associated with one or two other things going on. So it had been concerning me. I got put on blood pressure medication. And this is, like I said, back in April. And blood pressure medication was working okay, but it seemed to be not quite the right level. You know, as time goes on with blood pressure medication, you do have to tweak it a little bit. And it was the first time I'd ever taken it. So finally went to Atlas MD. I used to have a subscription to Atlas MD, and they're awesome. They're a concierge medical service, and I'm not like doing an advertisement for them. I just think they're awesome, and I liked my doctor. Your results may vary. Apparently, there's one doctor there that's kind of a dick. But mine, Dr. Palomino, is not. So finally renewed my subscription to Atlas MD, and the first thing he did was like, okay, great, so you put on a little weight, and let's see, you're 260 pounds. And he looked at me funny when I said, ooh, high score. Blood pressure was up, so he adjusted my blood pressure medications. He said, let's do, it's been quite a while since you've had blood work done, a full panel, so let's do a metabolic panel and see what we got. Now, I have to say, right here, in my head, I'm going, oh God, I can't afford any of this shit. I forgot, it's Atlas MD. The cost of all that, I had all these panels, blood panels, and I had the metabolic panel and my A1C tested, and we'll get into that in a second, and my cholesterol, and blah, blah, blah. And my cholesterol was high in two out of three factors. Not like I'm going to croak die high, but it does indicate something's wrong. But my blood sugar was high, about 147. So, when they took blood, they actually had taken enough that they could do another test with it. They put it in the fridge for a bit and said, hey, is it all right if we go ahead and do an A1C test since your blood sugar is high? I was like, yeah, sure, let's do this. Now, all of those tests, by the way, cost me about $20. And actually, that was including a refill for my blood pressure prescription. So, Atlas MD is amazing for most things. So, anyways, did the A1C, and it comes back 7.3. Now, that's not like gonna keel over and die horrible or anything like that. It's just not that good either. So, got basically when you do that, they want to test it again. They want to get an absolute yes, this is what it's at, and confirm a diagnosis of diabetes. So now the cool thing about diabetes is it's actually a really well known and understood metabolic condition. Not all of the whys are fully gotten there, but for the most part, you know if X happens, Y is going to happen. For the most part. Now, as you get older, it gets a little tweakier. As luck, fortune, whatever you might say, has it, I had a diabetic in my life. I have an ex-wife with type 2 diabetes, so I know how to cook for a diabetic. And I actually know about diabetes. And I've studied all this for the benefit of somebody else. So going into it, he tells me on the phone, okay, your blood sugar is this high and your A1C is this high, we want to retest. And I said, okay, let's give me about 3 weeks to the beginning of the year and we'll retest it. So meanwhile, there it began. Immediately put myself on a diet and began exercising. I'm coming up every day coming out of the basement drenched in sweat every day. Making sure that I'm putting in a lot of work. Celery and peanut butter is my friend. Why? Because that's my between meal snacks. It's only about 140 calories. My meals have got so much smaller and lower carb, and they're done in the proper portions, which basically boils down to if you take a plate, you split it in half. This half is going to be all veggie, and then this quarter will be your protein, and this quarter will be your carb. It's really simple formula. It's just a matter of how much. So no big deal. So in that process, it gave me 3 weeks to strip some weight off. In 3 weeks, I took down 9 pounds, almost 10, just so close. I didn't quite get my goal. And dropped my A1C from 7.3 to 6.7. That's actually a pretty good improvement. But I'm still diabetic. Fuck. So, here's my bitching and grousing that I've got to do. Because while this is absolutely a fixable situation, I will never be a true non-diabetic. Once you become diabetic, you can do something called reversal. Reversal means your body's no longer treating yourself as a diabetic. Your A1C is within the right parameters. You're okay. But you can't ever go back to the way you were. See, I hit 260 pounds. I can never be 260 pounds again. Additionally, reversal isn't a universal concept. Not everybody can pull off a reversal, because sometimes if you've been there for too long, or if you've got too much damage to your body in certain areas, a number of little things can prevent you from being able to do that. Now, there's all sorts of services that say that they have the right drug for doing type 2 diabetes reversal, and the truth is there's only one thing for doing it: diet and exercise. I'm about 1,300 calories a day, which means I'm always hungry. Always. And a minimum of 30 minutes of exercise a day. That's actually already been cranked up to 40 minutes a day, along with, that's just the cardio, by the way. Just to make myself feel good about myself, I'm also lifting weights. Feeling nice and feeling like you've got muscle going is always a great thing. It helps me to want to move forward. But yeah, do those two things, and you know what? I got about 6 months of this. It's not even like hell or anything to do it. And this is the thing. Part of me wants to grouse and bitch about having to eat a little less and to exercise a little more. But the funny thing is, what I've been wanting to do is lose weight and get back down to having a nearly flat stomach again. So I become a diabetic and I get to do that now. whatever. The universe is a weird place, and sometimes lets us do weird things, or sometimes does weird things to let us do what we want to do. So yeah. So here's the thing, though. I also didn't tell anybody about this. Kelly knows, girlfriend knows, but beyond that, I really didn't tell many people. Well, the problem is social situations. So I had once that we were all at a gathering, and somebody kind of passed over some elderberry mead, and I took a sip, and it was good. And when somebody suggested it again, I said, "Oh, that's good." And I hadn't told anybody there what was going on. So the idea of me turning down, somebody said, "Oh, why aren't you?" And it's like, "Oh, those things." And somebody else piped up, and I can't decide if she knew that from my facial expression something else was wrong. But she said, "Well, he's got gout. He needs to keep his alcohol consumption down." Well, really, it's all the sugars what I was trying to avoid. And then another thing comes up, and some friends were bringing over Christmas goodies. So it's a whole bunch of cookies. Well, I'm not going to be touching them. Actually, I can have a cookie. It's just to get it within the dietary requirements I've put for myself right now. It's difficult to do. 1,300 calories and one cookie represents 100 calories out of it. It's hard to do. So anyways, I realized that I was erring on the side of caution until I got an official diagnosis of diabetes. And then once that happened, it's like, okay, I probably should tell friends so that they don't think I'm being a weirdo when I suddenly start avoiding certain foods or certain sugars that I would have normally have had, So it's weird. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to tell anybody about diabetes because I feel it's such a fail on my part. Had I not reached 260 pounds, I probably wouldn't be dealing with diabetes. By the way, if I hadn't reached 260 pounds, I wouldn't have been dealing with high blood pressure either. And there's a cattail. Yes, hi cattail. That's a Gigi. Hi Gigi. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Gigi. You're not going to say hi to everybody, are you? Fine. She's going to sit right there and she's going to ignore us all. She's going to pretend like there's nothing going on. Anyways, there's a part of me that's embarrassed by it, but let's face it. Almost all of the problems I've got that I've listed, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, can all be attributed to me sitting on my ass and not doing the things that I wanted to do, working out and losing weight. How stupid is that I would be embarrassed by it? So, anyways, that's my ranting and storytelling for today. I'll see you all next week sometime. I don't know when. And have fun. As soon as I figure out how to land the video.